This is CBC Here and Now.
I had 18 inches of water in my house at 1:30 in the morning. One of the dogs came and woke me up.
Fast rising water forces the evacuation of Mud Lake in Labrador.
It took 8 months and 3 court dates to fight a $25 parking ticket.
It just seemed wrong to me on so many levels that it's so difficult to stand up for yourself.
Want to find out where the latest and best icebergs are? Well, there's an app for that.
Nice day for iceberg hunting tomorrow. Showers build in on Friday. Some warmer air, though, along with those showers. And then it's weekend time with all kinds of fun in store. We'll talk about it coming up.
It was a harrowing night for people living in Mud Lake, Labrador.
Yeah, flooding has forced the evacuation of most of the families that live in the small community.
Now here's what it looked like just hours ago. Homes are flooded, bridges are close to overflowing.
It happened so quickly that some people had to leave their animals behind.
The culprit is ice, jamming up the Churchill River and acting as a dam.
Now, Mud Lake is just southeast of Happy Valley Goose Bay. It's on the other side of the Churchill River.
Normally, people get to the community by driving up Mud Lake Road and taking boats or snowmobiles across the river. And that's according to the season, of course.
Yeah, this time of year, though, with the ice, people go to and from the community in chopper.
So let's now go to Here and Now's Jacob Barker, who is live in Happy Valley Goose Bay. So Jacob, what is the latest?
Well, I'm here in the lower valley of Happy Valley Goose Bay, where you can see there's flooding here as well. A business that we checked in on yesterday was worried that water was going to encroach here, and you can see it has quite a lot. And there's also been flooding down the street here on Mud Lake Road, which is on the Happy Valley Goose Bay side of things, but that's underwater as well. Mud Lake, the community is just across the water here, and this morning it was a frantic scene there.
Looking down on Mud Lake from the sky, you can see just what people needed to get away from. Already high water levels continued to rise through the night. An intense scene unfolded here early in the morning as residents watched the levels rise. Eventually, it was apparent they needed to get out. At about 4:30 this morning, military helicopters began to evacuate people and some of the pets.
I'm very tired. Like I said, I had 18 inches of water in my house at 1:30 in the morning. One of the dogs came and woke me up. Just tried to gather my stuff as best I could. Unfortunately, I forgot the leashes. It's hard to remember everything at that hour of the morning.
People were making their way to higher ground to get out. Eventually, though, the water was so high that wasn't possible either.
I have a knee rubber down, the water was too deep, and the chopper, we had to get it in a basket and get up aboard the chopper.
For this couple, over 60 years in Mud Lake. Have you ever seen anything like this?
First time ever I saw it.
Okay, never this high before?
Never this high before, no.
Once at the Goose Bay Airport, help was there to greet them. After the chaos of the morning came the emotions and the worry about what was left behind.
Husky dogs, we have husky teams down there. There's 3 sets of husky teams, so we're still down there.
Some stayed behind to keep an eye on the community and take care of the animals.
It's good that we're out, but my mind is still home because my family's down there.
The SPCA tells us there is a plan made to get over 30 dogs off the island. What are you feeling?
Very stressed, knowing that everything you own and everything you've worked for and got.
Now, the Red Cross is assisting here, and it says it's bringing over 1,100 pounds of cargo in to assist with efforts here. The evacuation is continuing at this hour to get the residents and the pets that are still over there off the island. Reporting live for Here and Now in Happy Valley Goose Bay, I'm Jacob Barker.
Well, there's a lot more to talk about with this story tonight. In 25 minutes, a homeowner will describe what it's like to be awakened in the middle of the night and told to get out fast. And in about 35 minutes, the MHA for the area joins us with the latest. Perry Trimper just got back from a helicopter tour of the area and will give us the very latest.
While the provincial government is looking at rehabilitation rather than incarceration as a new way to deal with non-violent drug-addicted offenders. The Justice Department is planning a drug treatment court pilot project for St. John's. The idea is to reduce the number of crimes committed to feed the drug addictions by offering court-monitored substance abuse treatment. Retired lawyer John Duggan and Justice Minister Andrew Parsons talked about the plan on the St. John's Morning Show.
The person getting out of custody is still addicted.
Yep.
So the drug treatment court is going to be dealing with the addiction itself and trying to change the person's life so that when they either get out of prison or they're ultimately sentenced, and it may not be a prison sentence itself, then they have the tools and the skills to be able to deal with the life's challenges that they have.
We can look at the examples that are being set by other provinces, and drug treatment courts are something that have been available all over North America for a number of years now. It's a way of trying an alternative method to justice, because in many ways what we're doing now doesn't work.
Well, there are two disturbing cases of animal cruelty to tell you about tonight. The first from Mount Pearl. Police are investigating a report that a high school student used a hatchet to hurt a seagull. It happened on Monday. The bird had to be euthanized. And in Happy Valley Goose Bay, a dog that was left in the back of a pickup truck yesterday went through a vehicle car wash. A man from Glovertown has been charged with causing an animal to be in distress and with transporting an animal without securing it. Fortunately, the dog wasn't hurt. Well, there's an investigation tonight into the report of a gun being fired in the east end of St. John's last night. The RNC received reports of a gunshot on Watson Street just before midnight. The spokesperson confirms that evidence of a gunshot was found at the scene and the window of a home on the street was busted out. No injuries were reported.
It's an all too familiar sinking feeling walking back to your parked car to find a ticket tucked into the wiper. Most people just pay, but one woman from Mount Pearl decided to fight her ticket, a fight she says exposes serious flaws in the justice system. Here Now's Megan McCabe has the details in the CBC Investigate story.
Put the credit card in, pay for parking. That's what Claire Heffernan thought she was doing at a meter in downtown St. John's back in October. But there was a ticket greeting her when she got back. $25 for an expired meter.
I immediately wondered what was wrong with the meter because I had put my Visa card in twice and got no response.
Heffernan contested the ticket, saying the instructions on the meter were not clear and launching a tedious process that took 8 months and 3 trips to court.
It was silly in a way to keep pursuing it, but it just seemed wrong to me on so many levels that it's so difficult to stand up for yourself.
And that's not the only reason. Heffernan has heard stories about struggles in the justice system, cases thrown out because of the Supreme Court of Canada's Jordan decision about the right to a speedy trial.
When I see that they drop charges on cases where there are drugs and money and weapons because they can't get time in Supreme Court, but yet they had time to get me to Supreme Court to get an extension to an appeal for a parking ticket, that strikes me as wrong. Wrong use of our money as taxpayers.
She had her day in traffic court last week and won. Ticket dismissed.
As for why this took so long to get through the courts, the province says it can't comment on specific cases, but generally, parking tickets don't take up a lot of court time. And just how much does fighting a ticket like this cost taxpayers? The short answer is we don't know, but add up salaries of judges, lawyers, court staff, it's an expensive piece of justice. Reporting live for Here and Now in St. John's, I'm Megan McCabe.
The woman who killed Jason Skinner asked his family for forgiveness in a Grand Falls, Windsor courtroom today. Pamela Pike stabbed Skinner with a knife in 2013. Today, for the first time, there are details about how Skinner died and about how difficult an ordeal this has been for his family. Here Now's Chris Ensing has more and a warning. There are graphic details in his report.
I feel that the justice system has failed me. That's Jason Skinner's father, Melvin, speaking publicly for the first time about his son's death.
Whatever his life was, it was his to live, not yours to take. Not only take his life, but break my heart.
Carmel Giles echoed his pain in court today through tears, explaining how the senseless, unbearable death of her nephew has left a void in the family that will never be filled. Mary Ellen Giles spoke about her nephew from Labrador, recalling how she told his grandmother that Skinner was killed. I still remember the sobbing as she learned her grandson had been taken from us, she said. In front of Skinner's family, Pamela Pike stood up in court today and apologized for their pain, asking them to forgive her for killing Skinner, something she admitted to for the first time earlier this month after 4 years of drawn-out court proceedings. This is where Skinner's body was found on April 14, 2013. Pike and Wanda Ash were overdoing opioids and Ritalin with Skinner. He left to meet a friend. Pike and Ash created a plan to rob him of his drugs. Skinner returned, and Pike smashed a glass bottle on his head. Ash threw an electric can opener at him, and Skinner fought them off. Pike grabbed an 8-inch kitchen knife and cut Skinner twice on the skull, then stabbed him in the chest. He made it back to his bed. Pike started to cry. Ash called him a psycho. The RCMP arrived. Following a trail of blood, they found Skinner with an empty pill bottle in his hand and a knife sticking out of his chest. Who did this? They asked. With his dying words, Skinner told them it was Pike. He was 34 years old, just weeks away from a drug rehabilitation program. Wanda Ash has been found guilty by a jury of manslaughter. She'll be sentenced next month. Pike was taken into custody today. The defense and Crown have asked the judge for a 7.5-year sentence, minus time served. Skinner's father said he doesn't want revenge for his son's death. He wants something he says he'll never get.
No one deserves to die. Those two ladies that killed my son, they don't even deserve to die. But they deserve more than they're going to get.
Pike will be sentenced tomorrow. Chris Hensing, CBC News, Grand Falls, Windsor.
Well, it'll be a rough start to the May 2-4 weekend for this trailer owner. Fire destroyed this RV in Pippi Park this morning. The blaze sent clouds of black smoke into the air that could be seen all over St. John's. There was no one in the trailer at the time, and there's no official word on the cause of the fire.
There was some indication initially that it might be propane, but the cause is under investigation, and we'll have to wait and see on that matter. Well, as you can see yourself, it's pretty ugly, but there's no loss of life, so that's the main part.
2 people are in hospital after a serious single-vehicle accident near Shea Heights earlier today. This Corvette was mangled after it rolled over on Blackhead Road. A 28-year-old male passenger was ejected from the vehicle. The driver, a 22-year-old man, was found inside the car. A hiker saw the accident and contacted police around noon. Investigators closed the road for a few hours as they searched for the cause of the crash. RNC Sergeant Paul Didham says it's too soon to know whether speed was a factor. He says the 2 men were seriously hurt.
The nature of their injuries or the seriousness of their injuries right now is unknown. But what I did gather from the responding people from the St. John's Regional Fire Department and Eastern Health paramedics, the injuries are serious. But to what extent, I don't know the full extent right now.
Well, it's hurry up and wait for the massive Hebron oil platform. The $14 billion structure has been waiting to be towed out to the Jeanne d'Arc Basin for 2 weeks. But heavy pack ice in Trinity Bay has put the whole operation on hold, and costs are adding up. 11 tow vessels are on standby at a cost of $40,000 to $70,000 a day. If you do the math, that's over $5 million a week. ExxonMobil says a tow out could happen over the next couple of weeks, and first oil is still on target for the end of this year.
All 170 kilometers of this subsea cable have now been laid across the Cabot Strait. It marks a big milestone for the Muskrat Falls hydroelectric project. Newfoundland is now connected to Nova Scotia. The $1.7 billion maritime link will deliver power from Muskrat Falls to Nova Scotia. It's also the longest subsea electricity cable in North America. Installation of the second cable, the Labrador Island link, is scheduled to begin in June. Full power is not expected to flow from Muskrat Falls until 2020.
Well, PCMHA Steve Kent had to watch question period today from afar after he was booted out of the House of Assembly. He refused to withdraw comments he made that were ruled unparliamentary. He called the finance minister dishonest and unethical. He made the comments last night when he was questioning the finance minister over the costs of firing the lieutenant governor's private secretary. Here's the exchange that got him into trouble.
If the number's 378,000, don't be cute and try and say that it's 111,000.
Madam Chair,
that's not honest, Madam Chair. That's not honest, Madam Chair, and I believe I have the floor. So the finance minister can attempt to cut me off if she wishes. But I do have the floor. And that kind of behavior from a minister is unethical, it's dishonest, and it's deceptive.
Madam Chair, if I get up on a point of order. If I get up on a point of order, please, under Section 49.
The Honourable the Government House Leader on a point of order.
In the last 2 minutes, the member opposite has made numerous non-parliamentary comments calling the member unethical. Hiding the information is absolutely non-parliamentary. It's absolutely disgraceful. And I would suggest that A, he should be forced to retract the comments. Secondly, he should be forced to apologize. And third, as it relates to this process that's happening in the House, this is going to end. This is not how this process goes. If we want to, we can do the regular committee and have 10 minutes and 10 minutes, and this is how it's going to go. But we're not going to have members sit there and call this government unethical and tell them they're hiding the information. It's not going to happen that way, Madam Chair. This cannot continue.
Olympian Jamie Korab is back in the game, except this time it's a different race. The well-known curler announced he's running for City Council in St. John's upcoming election. Korab is best known, of course, for winning curling gold at the 2006 Winter Olympics. Now he says he wants to give back by representing Cowan Heights in Ward 3. His platform promise? Making people slow down on the roads.
Things that I find having a young family in St. John's is safety and the traffic calming. So speeding is an issue. I drive a truck, so I basically drive it like my 86-year-old grandfather. I take my time, and I hate to see when people are speeding down the road, especially when I'm dropping my daughter off at daycare around the school areas where the school zones are 30 and there's people doing well in excess of 50. So that's one area, and as well safety.
Well, wondering what it's like on the East Coast Trail before you actually head out to hike it? Well, now you can find that answer on Google Maps. We'll explain after the break.
And later, we'll go back to Labrador to hear more about the rush to get people out of the community of Mud Lake overnight.
Welcome back to Here and Now, and you can now explore the rugged beauty of the East Coast Trail without even having to take a step. A virtual tour is now just a click away. This is a section of the Maddox Cove Trail that was recorded for Google Street View. Last summer, the Nature Conservancy of Canada sent a hiker wearing a 50-pound Google Trekker camera to record this part of the East Coast Trail. So now you don't even have to go out. You can just sit on your couch and explore the beauty of the East Coast Trail.
Well, if you love iceberg hunting but hate showing up late, now there's an app for that, of course. Brandy Goss of Bay Roberts has just released an app called Iceberg Alley. It's a new way to keep track of attractions that are always on the move. Here and Now, Zach Gowdy has the story.
Where? Where are we going?
We're going to turn right up here at that road.
Okay. Brandy Goss is following a treasure app that's leading us to white gold.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Whoa! 3 of them! Icebergs, just where the app said they would be.
Wow.
So you can post it now.
Yeah, I'm going to do posting.
Goss is an app developer, and her latest creation is called Iceberg Alley.
The goal is to make it easier for residents and visitors to experience icebergs and whales, which are big attractions in the province, but of course they're constantly moving. So people who are using the Iceberg Alley app will be able to help each other find the best locations to see the icebergs and the whales by posting their sightings.
Using the app is as easy as snapping a picture, entering a location and a short description, then your post is added to the sightings map. There's also a news feed section where you can quickly see the latest posts. Goss hopes the app can fix one of the big frustrations of iceberg hunting.
I know, like myself, when I've gone looking for icebergs, I might have heard of an iceberg during the week, and then I think, oh, I'll go check that out on the weekend. By the time I get there, it's not there, or it's moved too far out, and I can't see it anymore.
Iceberg Alley has just been released on Apple's App Store and Google Play. So far, it has a few hundred downloads, many from this province, but also from across Canada, the US, Asia, and other parts of the world. The more people post, the more accurate the app will be, and it's free.
It seems like everyone has their phone with them. It's the easiest way to find things and that kind of thing. So, I mean, having something like this is kind of like new technology in our rural little province kind of thing.
Zach Gowdy, CBC News, Brigus.
This weather update is brought to you by the Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 400 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Things to talk about before we get to your weather, Ryan. I wanted to say thanks again, Peter, for stepping in. Carolyn
Always my pleasure.
Carolyn is off tonight on behalf of the CBC to give out an award at the Atlantic Business Magazine's Top 50 CEO Awards Gala. That's being held at the Convention Center. That, I understand, is the first time it's being held in St. John's.
I wonder what she gets to eat for
Yes.
a meal.
Something nice.
Yeah, she's having a nice dinner while the rest of us are here
Definitely.
delivering the news. But yeah, she's presenting the Innovation Award. So lots of CEOs being recognized tonight.
Mm-hmm. Now, before we get to the weather, we're going to throw back to Zach's piece. And speaking of those great shots of icebergs in Brigus, have a look at this.
Oh, nice little kayak trip there to go check out the bergs.
Yeah, certainly attracting more than just the shutterbugs.
Yeah, Chris Fitzgerald, you'll see there skillfully paddling between the bergs on Monday. And same day, Zach and the CBC crew was out in Brigus to shoot that story that we just showed you.
And again, these photos are taken by Chris's dad, Jim Fitzgerald. And he says his son, who is a very experienced kayaker, who always has safety equipment with him. And of course, that's important when you are in very, very chilly water and near those icebergs.
Mm-hmm. Well, great.
Okay.
Speaking of chilly weather.
Yeah, well, we are going to see temperatures on the rise the next 2 days, not really coinciding with the weekend, unfortunately. And it's been 0 to 100 if you're talking to some friends and family in southern Ontario. Have a look at these temperatures. Literally, they've been dying for temps over 15, and today it hit 30 in southern Ontario. Current temperatures right now 30 in Toronto, 29 in Montreal, 21 in Halifax. And again, the downside of all this heat this quickly is, of course, the severe weather which has been sparked up. One death courtesy of a tornado in Oklahoma yesterday, and another death because of a tornado in Wisconsin. And again, more severe weather breaking out in the central parts of the U.S. thanks to this system. This is the same system that's going to be rolling into our neck of the woods for the weekend with rain and, yes, snow wrapping in on the backside of the system. This is the first low that's going to be moving in that will help to bring a little bit of warmer air for your Friday time period, but also some of those showers you're seeing draped over the Maritimes as we speak. Here's how it plays out. Future Tracker shows this system that's been bringing a few showers to the island today, but overall not a bad day. That low moves off to the north tonight. A bit of a break for Thursday for most of us. The exception will be Labrador City, Churchill Falls with a few showers. A late day risk for Happy Valley Goose Bay, but the island looks pretty nice. Some clouds in the morning, more sun than not into the afternoon for most of us. And then as we roll into the Friday time period, we are going to be seeing the clouds thicken up. Good chance of seeing some showers for most of us, especially along the west coast. And again, things get interesting as this system moves off to the northeast and we see the wraparound, cold air, temps fall, and yes, snow mixing in. We'll have your updated long weekend forecast coming up. Cabin, more preferable this weekend than tent. We'll just put it that way for you. We'll talk about that again in more detail in a few minutes. Morning outlook, again, starting a little cloudier than not, I think, St. John's up the northeast coast to Gander, but a pretty quiet start for most of the island. Temperatures ranging from 3 to 4 degrees for most. A little cooler for St. Anthony up through the Straits to Labrador West, where we'll see the risk of a wet flurry or a shower activity in Labrador City even in the morning. Thursday morning, again, I think the clouds a little bit thicker from time to time, and then into the afternoon, more sun than not. And actually, that CBS temperature should also say 12 degrees. I think we will be in and around that 12 to 13 degree range for most of the metro region for tomorrow. Clarenville down towards the Burin Peninsula, possibility of some 14 to 15 degree temps away from the sea breeze there. Central Newfoundland, clouds in the morning will depart into the afternoon, and a pretty solid day shaping up there. 13 to as warm as 15, even 16 degrees. Grand Falls, Windsor through Badger, back towards the Humber Valley tomorrow as well. That's where I think we'll see the warmest temps on the island tomorrow. Burgeo to Port aux Basques near 10. Corner Brook and up through Grossmore near 12 degrees. For the northern peninsula and southeastern parts of Labrador, winds will become southwest into the afternoon. Bit of a sea breeze, but overall 6 to 7 degrees for most. And there are those showers tracking into Labrador City, Churchill Falls. A late day sprinkle possible in Happy Valley Goose Bay, but more sun and cloud into the especially the morning hours. Chance of a late day flurry in Nain and those showers in the west. We'll talk about that long weekend and beyond with your 7-day coming up, Debbie.
You can imagine the worries in the community of Mud Lake when the call came in the middle of the night for people to get out fast. After the break, one of those people will walk us through his experience. As we've seen this evening, it is a trying time for the residents of Mud Lake who've had to leave the small community because of the flooding. Dave Rayburn is one of the people who had to flee his house in the middle of the night in a loaded down aluminum boat. And Dave Rayburn joins us now from Happy Valley Goose Bay. Thank you so much for doing this, because it is quite a difficult day for you.
Yes, thank you, Debbie.
Now, I understand you've never seen anything like this in your 14 years of living in Mud Lake. What was the river like in the lead up to your escape last night?
Well, up until probably midday yesterday, it was reasonably normal. We get a rise in water levels this time of the year when the ice or the snow starts to melt. But from midday yesterday up until yesterday evening, the water came in very fast indeed. And within hours, we were in a totally different situation, very dangerous.
You were, I know you must have been nervous at this point, wondering when is it going to stop?
Yes, we were watching the river or the water rise around the house that evening. And about 9 o'clock, we said, well, maybe we're hoping that the ice was going to break and the river would flow out. But so we went to bed at around 10 o'clock, and at 1:30 we got a phone call to say we have to evacuate. So we looked outside, and the water had risen quite a lot. Got another phone call and phoned around, made sure everybody was aware. And then one of our neighbours came along with a boat, and we all got in the boat and headed towards the centre of the village to the community centre.
I understand, Dave, that boat was pretty loaded down. How many people and animals were in it?
Yes, there was 6 adults and 4 dogs, and quite a bit of baggage as well. So it was quite well loaded down.
And not very good weather, was it?
And snowing.
Yeah.
No, it was blowing and snowing and raining, and it was pretty rough, yes.
Yeah. Did you manage to take anything with you? You and your wife were together?
We just grabbed a small bag and threw in our essentials, medication, that kind of thing. Everything else has been left in the house. We didn't have time to do anything.
So you did
when we opened the back.
You go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. No, I said when we opened the door to meet the people coming with the boat, the water started running in through the back door.
Wow.
So we said, well, it's time to go.
Yeah, and I understand your house is up like 3 or 4 feet, so that's quite a lot of water flowing in. And
that's right.
Then
Yeah,
you took the helicopter then from the town hall, did you?
Yes, from the community centre. Yes, the Canadian military search and rescue helicopter came and picked us up and took us up to the airport. And from there we went to the the centre where we were supposed to register.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
The arena.
Yeah, the arena, and I'm just wondering, you did tell me today that some people have stayed behind. You spoke with one man who he's responsible for like 30 sled dogs. What was he telling you?
Yes, there's a family of 3 people, a father and 2 sons that have dog teams, one dog team each, about 30 odd dogs. And apparently they are just being evacuated as we speak.
So just in conclusion, Dave, I'm just wondering, do you have any idea what your house is like at this point, and how are you and your wife coping with it all?
Well, I think today we've been looking at photographs from various sources, aerial photographs, and people sending in pictures on Facebook, and I'm afraid our house is probably written off. The water level has continued to rise most of the day, and so I would say our house is pretty well finished.
It's a tough time for you.
We're trying to. Yes, we're trying to take it all in. I don't think it's really sunk in yet. So.
Well, Dave Rayburn, I appreciate so much that you could join us under the circumstances, and we'll keep following the story, of course.
Okay, thank you, Debbie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there's no doubt people in Mud Lake will be dealing with today's flooding for some time. After the break, the area's MHA joins us. He's just back from a helicopter ride, and he'll tell us what the latest is.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
All right, welcome back to Here and Now, everybody, and it's time to talk about the long weekend forecast. And again, no worries if you're not a fan of the heat. I know a lot of you folks would be complaining about the 30 to 34 degrees that is off to our south and west. None of that coming our way, but we are going to be warming up over the next couple of days for those looking for some slightly warmer temperatures. Again, this is the system that's rolling up through the U.S. right now that will be moving into our neck of the woods with first some rain for some showers for the Friday time period. And then, yes, wrapping into some snow as the colder air wraps in on the back side of the system for the weekend. Here's how it all plays out. Picking things up this evening, our first low that's been bringing some scattered shower activity will move off to the northeast. Through Thursday morning, some clouds lingering across the island, but a pretty bright, nice afternoon for most of us. Scattered showers for western Labrador will approach Happy Valley Goose Bay by the end of the day, but overall it is pretty quiet. And again, look at those temperatures. A little cooler in the onshore winds, but generally we're talking about 10 to 15 degrees for most of the island for tomorrow with that sun-cloud mix. And there are the shower chances for western parts of Labrador. A little cool along the north coast with a late day risk for you folks in Nain. Now, Thursday afternoon into Friday, and here comes our next system. And again, along the warm front, we are going to be seeing some shower chances pretty much everybody from Corner Brook to St. John's on Friday will run the risk of seeing some showers, and we will be seeing that up into Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and southeastern parts of Labrador as well. Slight risk into Lab West as that system starts to move in. In fact, likely a little bit of a wet flurry mix with temperatures steady near 2. Sun and cloud, Happy Valley, Goose Bay. I think the rain is confined to the southeast parts of Labrador. Clouds with showers for western parts of Newfoundland, central, and yes, some scattered showers in St. John's and the east as well. But a sun break possible also. Saturday morning and into the Saturday afternoon time period, this is where things get interesting. The low moves off to the northeast. Snow wrapping in on the backside of the system. Definitely for the higher elevations of southeastern Labrador, the northern peninsula. This is where we'll have the best chance of seeing some accumulating snow, but also Corner Brook and into the central parts of Newfoundland. Not ruling out some accumulation here either, especially Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening through the overnight and into Sunday. Temperatures near that 2-3 degree range. So elevation is going to be key. How close you are to the coast versus inland, that will also be a factor. So a lot of variables at play here, but certainly some accumulation possible. Central, west, and especially the northern peninsula, southeastern parts of Labrador. There are your Saturday temps. By the way, Saturday showers with temperatures falling in St. John's, and then the shower flurry mix will arrive in St. John's. It looks like Saturday night. Sunday, I think we'll see some flurries in the mix. Central, again, west, that messy mix continues, and into southeastern parts of Labrador as well. The sun builds into Lab West first on Sunday, then into Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and western Newfoundland for Monday. Could even see some late day clearing, but temps near 4 for central parts of Newfoundland. And yes, more showers and flurries on the menu for Monday here in the east. We'll run you through your 7-day trend coming up at the end of the show. For now, let's throw it over to Peter.
Well, here's today's young athlete of the day. It's Nathan White, who's 4 years old.
Nathan is from Witless Bay and practices martial arts and has even won a gold medal at a recent karate tournament.
Congratulations, Nathan. You're today's young athlete of the day. Well, people in Labrador are watching the weather tonight and the water levels closely on the Churchill River. As we've been telling you throughout the show, dozens of people are out of their homes tonight. Perry Trimper is the MHA for Lake Melville, and he's joining us live from Happy Valley, Goose Bay. So I understand you just got back from a helicopter tour. So what's the latest in terms of the water level?
Well, Peter, it's really quite something to see. I mean, what has to be one of the prettiest villages in the entire province is frankly devastated. And when you see it from the air and the extent of the flooding and knowing all those beautiful homes and lawns and so on completely underwater and all you see are rooftops, it's a dramatic impression of the extent of the problem. The water levels do seem to have stabilized somewhat. And I tuned in with Dave Rayburn's comments earlier, and I listened to him speak this morning. Residents spoke about around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, almost like a wave of water coming in, and I had a chance to look at the hydrographic data from the stations that are along the river. There was an amazing increase in water, about 1 meter increase in the water level over 1 hour last night, and that's really what caught everybody amazingly off guard.
Now, at last count, there were 11 people who didn't want to leave. We heard about 30 dogs. What's the latest in the efforts to try and help get them to safety?
So in the last few hours, there's been a good group of emergency responders. Fire and emergency services are leading the response on behalf of the province, and a very tired Mario Berthiaume has been leading the charge. He's just organized, several of us have been supporting him, so we have 2 different aircraft going, a 212 that's going in now to haul out 3 rumbolts and some 32 husky dogs. So we just coined the phrase of Sky Kennel, and they're really the only high and dry place in Mud Lake is going to serve as a landing spot, so the SPCA are involved. So the 212 is just left with a load of kennels and volunteers to bring the dogs and their tired and cold owners back home, or back here, I should say. They're leaving their homes. And we still have another gentleman and his pets, if I could just add. They're in a different part of the community, and it's actually inundated with water. So we are availing of 444 Squadron and D&D support to help get this gentleman and his animals out of there. They're going to have to use a basket and have to be lowered down to him. So we've got 2 separate missions going now before we conclude our day.
One of the big questions for a lot of people whose homes are now flooded with water is going to be insurance. Insurance usually doesn't cover flooding. What's the province looking at in terms of helping the people who have already know that they've lost so much in this?
I'm sorry, Peter, you broke up a little bit, but I know you're talking about insurance and I believe what the province can do. And I must say that as the MHA for the area, I'll certainly be working with all of government as we are now in this immediate response, but it's certainly over a longer term. We have a wonderful community that has a great, proud tradition. It's been hit hard by this tragedy, and we'll see what we can do to support all of those residents, pets, and so on.
Now, one thing a lot of people have been wondering about is Muskrat Falls and the impact that this construction upstream may have had on the flooding that a lot of people say they haven't seen in decades and decades. People are concerned about that. Are you concerned that Muskrat Falls may have influenced the water levels and influenced the flooding here?
Well, it's certainly a question on everybody's mind, and you know, everyone's been reaching out to Nalcor and trying to understand if in fact there was any influence, but I only have to go back, and I just said to Jacob Barker, who's here with me, it was just 5 days ago we were on the Goose River, a completely separate watershed, and we went through the same scenario, although not to this extent. We've never seen flooding like we had witnessed on the Goose River last weekend, and we've just witnessed it on this river. We've had a very cold spring. And the last 7-8 days, with the exception of today and yesterday, frankly, have been extremely warm. So you had essentially spring almost canceled and then a heat wave, and we've had a tremendous runoff. And that in combination with the fact that in this situation, Lake Melville, I just flew over it, it remains frozen. And there is literally kilometers of ice built up down there. So we've got a wall of ice and we've got a lot of runoff, and that's precipitated in a serious flood event, which unfortunately has hit Mud Lake very hard.
Well, thank you very much for giving us the latest tonight.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
While we return now to today's evacuation of Mud Lake in Labrador, here in their own words are some of the stories of residents who quickly fled their homes in the early hours of this morning.
Very emotional. Tough to leave your house, knowing you're going to lose everything.
Yeah. What are you thinking right now? What are you feeling?
Very stressed, knowing that everything you own and everything you've worked for is going to be gone. Nothing you can do.
What did your house look like when you were leaving?
It was only a couple inches away from going in the door, and our house is 6 feet off the ground to start with, so it's going fast. We had to move our husky dogs and leave them down there and everything.
What are you going to do now? Do you know?
I have no clue. We just built a brand new house, all that, so it's gone. We don't know. Start from scratch. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Hard deal when you got 3 kids, so.
We had to go from our house to our friend neighbour's house in our speedboat. Our son-in-law pulled us over like all the boat.
Oh, really?
The water was too deep for us to walk.
Okay.
I had my knee rubbers on, the water was too deep. And we had to get it in a basket and get up aboard the chopper. Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Water all around the house, and our daughter's out, the water's right around her house, up to her steps. And our friend's out, coming in their basement. They burned us on the high bank.
I had 18 inches of water in my house at 1:30 in the morning. One of the dogs came and woke me up because she had been sleeping on the floor. So she came and woke me up. So I just tried to gather my stuff as best I could. Unfortunately, I forgot the leashes. It's hard to remember everything at that hour of the morning. And then we loaded into the boat. I had the boat tied to the house because the water was already up that high when I went to bed. And we paddled down to the school where the helicopter was coming. So basically tired, very glad that I'm not in my house. Yeah. But you know, like you have no idea what's going on, what's you know, like where you're going to stay, how you're going to take care of things, when you go back, what you're going to find. Yeah. Like I said, I couldn't bring my chickens. I'm sure that their pen was underwater. I had tried to build something up for them to sit on, but I doubt it's going to be high enough. So. Okay.
Around, oh my goodness, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, it started rising really hard, and we just kept looking at it. We didn't go to bed all night. We got my sister-in-law, my nephews, and my nieces up to the house because it even started going past my house, and we're the highest ground level in Mud Lake. And it's dangerous. It's bad down there.
What do you mean by dangerous?
Well, you could lose your house. We could drown. We could have been sleeping, and this could have happened. We could be dead right now.
Well, in international news now. And let me just get to where I'm supposed to begin this story about Donald Trump. The pressure on the U.S. president is growing after accusations he tried to have an FBI investigation into a former associate shut down. Now, some of Donald Trump's Republican allies warn against what they call a rush to judgment.
We can't deal with speculation and innuendo, and there's clearly a lot of politics being played.
They do as little as humanly possible just to claim that they're doing something.
The White House denies that Trump made any improper request of James Comey, but Democrats and some Republicans are demanding an independent commission of inquiry. As for Trump, he applauded a class of Coast Guard graduates this morning. He offered congratulations and admiration, but he did not speak about the current controversy. Still, a note of bitterness slipped into his address when he described himself as the most unfairly treated politician in history.
You'll find that things happen to you that you do not deserve and that are not always warranted. Never, ever, ever give up. Things will work out just fine. Look at the way I've been treated lately.
There's a big celebration underway in Montreal. The city is celebrating its 375th birthday. The Prime Minister and his wife Sophie joined Montreal Mayor Denis Coderre for a special mass earlier today.
Now, Montrealers across the city are part of the festivities. There's a bridge lighting ceremony and a special concert tonight.
Well, when looking at the 7-day trend, I almost want to do this. Looks pretty good. Not so much. Through the weekend, again, temperatures falling in the east through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, flurries mixing in the east, and earlier for those flurries for Saturday into central and western parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. Again, Labrador West, the best looking long weekend forecast, no question about that. Temperatures building into Monday. And, you know, just like the May 24th weekend, the Pitts song says, 24th of May, and there's some snow involved. And
you got to get away, though.
You got to get away. No matter what, you got to get away. Yeah.
And people will have a ball no matter what. See you tomorrow, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.